Hello people, and welcome back to another video of Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes. As we have completed an entire retrospective of Sengoku Basara 2 and Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes, it's time to discuss the gameplay aspect of this entry in more detail. In accordance to the video title, we are discussing the gameplay of Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes only, considering it is the updated version. A short reminder, Sengoku Basara as a series is Capcom's take on the popularity of Koei's Musou games such as Dynasty and Samurai Warriors. If you are familiar with how Koei Musou games work, then I don't really need to discuss the basic premise of Sengoku Basara. However, what I'm going to discuss in this video is how Capcom approached Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes differently compared to Koei's games at the time such as Dynasty Warriors 5 and Samurai Warriors 2. To make a better comparison, I will be using more of Samurai Warriors 2 Xtreme Legends to compare. The comparison I'm going to make between Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes and Samurai Warriors 2 Xtreme Legends is not necessarily to point out which game is better, but it's to show how the game attempted to distinguish itself from Koei's Musou title. Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes is how I got started with the series in general. As a 14-year-old Koei Musou fan in 2007, I was blown away with the gameplay of Capcom's version of a Musou game. It's like a typical Musou game, but everything has more style and substance. As of today, I still go back to this game. I even consider this to be the best Musou game on the PlayStation 2. With all that being said, we are going to discuss first on how combat works in Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes. So let's take a deeper look at Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes gameplay. When it comes to Koei's Musou combat mechanics, it is very patternized. What I mean is that although characters can be very unique to one and another, every character has the same pattern of attacks. Characters can either perform a chain of normal attacks or a chain of normal attacks that ends with a charge attack. It's either a chain of square buttons or square buttons that end with a triangle button. The normal to charge attack strings also has the same pattern for every character. Square triangle is a launch attack, square square triangle is a stun attack, and square 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 triangle is an all-round attack. This has been the trend from Dynasty Warriors 2 all the way to Dynasty Warriors 8 and Samurai Warriors 5. Omega Force has kept this combat mechanics for almost 25 years at this point. In the case of Samurai Warriors 2 Xtreme Legends, to make combat somewhat fresh, Koei and Omega Force applied 3 different moveset types. The normal type has up to 12 normal attack inputs and is given single input charge attacks from C1 to C9. The charge type only has up to 8 normal attack inputs, but there are 3 input charge attacks for C1 to C4 and a single input charge attack for C5. The special type is very similar to the charge type, except you only have 2 input charge attacks for C1 to C4. This type also has 3 input special attacks for R1 square and R1 triangle. Personally, I do like this change in Samurai Warriors 2. It did give more variety in the combat and made it distinguish as well from the Dynasty Warrior series. However, the combat is still patternized. Although characters have different types, square triangle is still a launch attack, square square triangle is still a stun attack, and square 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 triangle is still an all-around attack. Now, in Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes, the combat mechanics is pretty much the same from the first Sengoku Basara game. The game has square for normal attacks and triangle for special attacks. Every character has up to 8 normal attack inputs. What makes every character unique is in fact their special attacks. The major improvement in Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes compared to the first Sengoku Basara is that returning characters from the first game have more special attacks. Characters can have up to 7 special attacks that you can use. Although the combat in Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes is somewhat simplistic with only 2 main button commands, characters do not share any pattern of attacks because of how unique every character's special attack is. Special attacks in the Sengoku Basara games do not have the same function as charge attacks in the Dynasty or Samurai Warriors games. In fact, special attacks have multiple functions. To put it simpler, special attacks in Sengoku Basara act somewhat similar to that of fighting games. Special attacks in fighting games like Street Fighter have different functions such as projectiles, grapples, rapid attacks, and others. For a start, since I mentioned fighting games, some characters have singular projectiles as their special attacks.
Phantom Dive!
Some characters have rapid attacks for specials. You can extend these attacks by rapidly pressing the triangle button. Now, some characters' special attacks are projectile rapid attacks. These are projectile attacks that you can turn into a string by repeatedly tapping the triangle button. Special attacks can also be charged attacks. Basically, you can hold the triangle button longer to create a stronger effect for these special attacks. Characters like Hideyoshi has grappling special attacks. There are launcher special attacks, which you can either chain it with the respective special attack by repeatedly tapping triangle, or with a normal attack by repeatedly tapping square. Just like in the previous Sengoku Basara game, some characters' special attacks allow them to go into super state. In this state, characters not only become more powerful, but they gain new attacks as well. One of the most unique special attacks in the game is Keiji's Koi no Kakehiki. This is a timing-based Rekka attack which can also be used to cancel any of Keiji's attacks. When I say any, I meant any attacks ranging from other special attacks, normal attacks, and even his Basara attack.
とっときなとっときなそこでこっからが本番まだまだとっときなそこでとっときなそこでとっときなそこでとっときなそこでとっときそこでとっときなあんたも踊って踊ってそこであんたに惚れちゃったよまだまだそこでとっときな
Look, I can go on and on to explain the many unique forms of special attacks in this game. However, describing every single one of them require a dedicated video of their own. If you want to see a more in-depth coverage of every character's moveset, I highly recommend you to check out this channel, Ultra Rebellion. You can find the playlist of Sengoku Basara to Heroes characters moveset in the description below. With all that being said, what I'm trying to explain here is that special attacks make every character unique. Although this game's combat is somewhat simplistic compared to the later entries, but the variety of characters' special attacks gave a lot more depth and personality. Unlike in Dynasty and Samurai Warriors, nobody has the same pattern of attacks in Sengoku Basara. In a way, it's kind of like Street Fighter. Every character has the same button inputs of 3 different punches and 3 different kicks. What distinguishes every character's playstyle is their special attacks. Sengoku Basara always has a free-flowing combat system compared to that of Dynasty and Samurai Warriors where they are linear and strict. Similar to the first Sengoku Basara game, you can only use 2 special attacks in a battle. You have to select the special attacks in the preparation menu before starting any battle. In battle, you press the L1 button to switch between one special attack to another. The game also allows you to parry an attack. To perform a parry, you tap the R1 button on the exact time the enemy strikes you. Just like in Koei's Musou game, you press the circle button to perform the super attack. In Sengoku Basara, the super attack is called the Basara attack. You can perform the Basara attack when your Basara meter is full. Now, the Musou attacks in games like Samurai Warriors 2 Xtreme Legends is also patternized. This is also a thing in Koei's other PlayStation 2 Musou games. When you press the circle button, the character will perform a strong repeated pattern of attacks. You can prolong this attack by holding the circle button until the Musou bar is completely depleted. In Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes, the Basara attack is not a repeated cycle of attack. Instead, it is one big super attack that you perform by only pressing the circle button once. Worth mentioning that Basara attacks differ from character to character.
That's more like it!
It's Ari!
Teach you something?
輝け我が剣堅牢なる城に堅固なる守りあり削除は終わった
Yoda!
This resistance is nothing more than a waste of my time.
What do you think of that?
Listen.
I
エモアのホエルが如く
keep your resistance strong! Everyone!
本敵退散 実に良きこと。
Trying to carry the weight of the whole land that was a small world there.
You can match my skill.
やっちまうぞ。
やっぱしお侍には勝てねえだか。
Once again, applying this type of super attacks gave Sengoku Basara to heroes a lot more uniqueness and personality in the characters. I know I repeated the word personality a lot in my Sengoku Basara videos, but that's just how Capcom approached the series. Uniqueness and personality, especially in characters, was Capcom's primary focus to make players immerse themselves in the game. Not to mention, it created a better presentation overall. Now, Koei and Omega Force actually applied the big super attacks similar to the Basara attacks in later games such as Dynasty Warriors 7 and Dynasty Warriors 8. This game also introduced the Sengoku Drive, which is basically the equivalent of the Muso Rage from Dynasty Warriors 5. There are two ways to activate the Sengoku Drive. The first method is to reach 100 KOs. See that orb on the side of your character's portrait? That is the Sengoku Drive stock. When you reach 100 KOs, you'll get to stock the Sengoku Drive. You can activate the Sengoku Drive by pressing the L2 button. Now, if you have a Sengoku Drive stock and reach another 100 KOs, your Sengoku Drive stock will turn red. You will activate the red Sengoku Drive by pressing the L2 button. This version of the Sengoku Drive is more powerful than the regular Sengoku Drive. The second method to gain a Sengoku Drive is by performing 500 combos. For this method, you will automatically activate the Sengoku Drive instead of saving it as a stock. Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes adopted a mechanic from a game that I would never touch again, Devil Kings. This game has priming. Some special attacks are marked as yellow, in which you can turn enemies into prime state. In this state, enemies' health bar turns yellow and every attack that you perform will double the hit count. I do believe the priming system is a good system to be applied in the PlayStation 2 Sengoku Basara games, considering you are limited to 2 different special attacks per battle. With all the long explanation of the combat mechanics, Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes was able to improve the gameplay from the previous game. Capcom was able to create the combat a lot more in-depth with its simplicity compared to that of Koei's Dynasty and Samurai Warriors games. Throughout the series, characters in Sengoku Basara are assigned to specific elements. In Samurai Warriors 2 Xtreme Legends, the game allows you to apply any element to your weapon of choice, whether it's fire, ice, lightning, and others. In the Sengoku Basara series, you only have one specific element for each character. There are 6 different elements: lightning, fire, ice, wind, light, and darkness. Every character is assigned to a specific element, except for Miyamoto Musashi, since he is the only character who is elementless. Let's discuss every element and their special properties. The first element is the lightning element. This element enables you to create energy orbs when hitting enemies, thus producing more damage. The lightning element can also slightly extend the attack range of your character. Characters who are assigned to the lightning element are Date Masamune, Katakura Kojuro, Honda Tadakatsu, Tokugawa Ieyasu, Mori Ranmaru, and Shimazu Yoshihiro. The second element is the fire element. This element allows you to burn enemies and gradually depletes their health bar. Characters who are assigned to the fire element are Sanada Yukimura, Takeda Shingen, Chosokabe Motochika, Maeda Toshie, Zavi, and Nohime. The third element, and probably the most broken element in the game, is Ice element. This element allows you to incapacitate your enemies by freezing. Every attack from this element freezes your enemies. So, if you are performing 8-string normal attack combo, each of those attacks incapacitates the opponent. Characters who are assigned to the ice element are Uesugi Kenshin, Itsuki, and Hojo Ujimasa. Now you know why I love playing as Kenshin in this game. The fourth element is the wind element. This element allows you to create strong wind that enables to suck enemies to your attacks. Characters who are assigned to the wind element are Maeda Keiji, Matsu, and Fumakotaro. The fifth element is the light element. This element not only allows your weapon to glow, but it also makes your attacks easier to break enemies' guard. Characters who are assigned to the light element are Azai Nagamasa, Mori Motonari, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, Kasuga, Imagawa Yoshimoto, and Honganji Kenyo. The final element is Darkness element. This element allows you to absorb a small amount of health from enemies when they are killed. Characters who are assigned to the Darkness element are Oda Nobunaga, Oichi, Akechi Mitsuhide, Takanaka Hanbei, and Sarutobi Sasuke. The character-specific element has been a staple in the Sengoku Basara series since the first game. Though it's unfortunate that you can't assign multiple elements to characters' weapon like in Dynasty and Samurai Warriors, but having character-specific element once again made characters more unique individually. Characters have always been the priority of Capcom in Sengoku Basara. I've explained in my previous retrospective videos that every character was designed to be very personalized. Not only does everyone has their own unique moveset, but everyone also has their own introduction scene, theme music, and even unique death animation. The emphasis of characters is also reflected by the game's stage designs. Now, how does stage design make characters more personalized? Well, in Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes, every character has at least one stage where they are the boss or the commander. Let's talk about the difference between Koei's approach and Capcom's approach in stage designs. In Koei's Musou games, take Samurai Warriors 2 Xtreme Legends for example, you have large maps. In that large map, you have to complete multiple objectives in order for you to finally reach the boss or the commander of that stage. In the large map as well, you have NPC generals and playable characters in both the enemy side and ally side. Some playable characters of the stage are the main focus. For example, the Battle of Sekigahara revolves around Mitsunari and Sakon on the Western Army side, and Ieyasu on the Eastern Army side. The rest of the playable characters in that map have some significance, but mostly there as additional bodies. They are also there because of their historical lore, so to speak, considering Koei's games are a lot more grounded and closer to the historical context. In Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes, you have smaller and linear maps. As I said in previous retrospective videos, Capcom approached the series with a more arcade style in mind. Although Capcom made stages more linear, but stages were designed to revolve around certain characters, which in this case, it's the boss and the sub-bosses. Examples: Osaka Castle revolves around Hideyoshi, Onigashima revolves around Morochika, and the Kyoto Festival revolves around Keiji. To put it simple, Capcom took characters and built stages for them. Meanwhile, Koei built stages and then assigned characters for those stages. Once again, Capcom had characters as their main focus. Like most Musou games, the main objective of every stage is to defeat the boss or the commander. Some stages have special objectives that allow players to earn better rewards. For example, in Odawara Castle Siege Battle, there's a special mission where you need to ride a horse and run towards the main gate before it closes. If you complete this objective, you will unlock a hidden route that leads towards a place with multiple treasure boxes full of money and items. Some special objectives will punish you if you fail to complete it. Using the same example, if you fail to reach the main gate of Odawara in time, you will fight Fumakotaro to open the gate. You will also lose the hidden path to the treasure area as well. Personally, even with the more linear stage designs, I do believe they are more lively than that of the larger maps of Koei's games. It's fascinating that by personalizing stages for characters, Capcom once again created more style and substance. It's another case of quality over quantity. With Capcom's approach for a more arcade style in battles, this game has some really neat details. Let's start from soldier designs. In most Koei Musou games, soldiers and generals are mostly color swaps to represent different factions. In Samurai Warriors 2, for example, the Oda soldiers are colored purple, the Takeda soldiers are colored red, and the Date soldiers are colored green. They all have the same design but different colors. An exception goes to the Shimazu since they have a completely unique soldier design for the game. In Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes, every faction has a completely different soldier design. Capcom designed the soldiers to represent their respective commander's personality. For example, Chosokabe Motochika is portrayed as a pirate, so his soldiers are designed to be like pirates as well, while wearing the same color as he is. Zavi, who is a pseudo-Christian cult leader, has an army dressed in cleric clothing. Maeda Keiji has an army of guys wearing Matsuri outfits that not only reflects his easygoing personality, but his stage as well, the Kyoto Festival. Oh, and Itsuki has an army of idol fanboys simping for her.
You're all under arrest.
Characters have unique enemy types as well. For example, Uesugi Kenshin has an army of elegant ice ninjas, which also reflects his character really well. Chosokabe Motochika has an arsenal of mechs such as his feudal AT-AT Walker. Every gameplay aspect of Sengoku Basara was designed to match the characters. It is the one aspect Capcom did really well for the series. The game also introduced battle weapon gimmicks. What I mean by this is that there are certain weapons you can use in battle to fight a certain enemy type. The Battle of Onigashima is a good example. Since you're fighting Motochika's AT-AT Walker, the stage provides you with cannons that you can use to destroy it. To fire the cannon, you simply just need to hit it. Interesting enough, Koei started applying the battle weapon gimmick in later games such as Samurai Warriors 3, Dynasty Warriors 7, and Warriors Orochi 3. You can find bonus objects as well in battle. The bonus object allows you to earn money by constantly hitting it until it stops giving you money. You can never take away the amount of effort Capcom has put in the game simply to distinguish themselves from Koei Muso games. Creativity and uniqueness are the things that made me love the Sengoku Basara series as a whole. There we have it, folks, a deeper discussion of Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes gameplay. I believe we have covered everything that you need to know for Sengoku Basara 2 and Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes. This game marks the last Sengoku Basara game for the 6th generation console. The next main entry of the series will mark their debut in the 7th generation console. I want to give a final say in regards to this game. Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes is the game that got me started to become a fan of the series. If you're mostly a casual gamer, especially if you really love Koei's Muso games, then I highly recommend giving this game a shot if you want to get started with Sengoku Basara. Its immersive gameplay and rich content can keep you busy for hours. If you ask me personally, I believe Capcom should have localized this game to the West before Sengoku Basara Samurai Heroes. This game creates a better first impression of the series than the later. Capcom did an amazing job with Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes. As I said in my last video, this was the game that took Sengoku Basara into greater heights. Despite being the lesser known video game title compared to Dynasty and Samurai Warriors, Sengoku Basara left a bigger impact in pop culture and other media. It all started because of this game. So, this is the end of the video, ladies and gentlemen. What are your thoughts on the gameplay? Do you like the gameplay of Sengoku Basara 2 Heroes, or do you like the gameplay of other Sengoku Basara games? Let me know in the comment section below. With that being said, this is me, Profar. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you dislike this video, give me a thumbs down. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, join the Profar Mokori Hunter X Discord server, and I'll see you guys in the next video.